news market in the world. And, of course, we're trying to keep our eye on everything that is news so that you can be informed and take that knowledge with you. I've touched on a number of headlines. The government, it is now being revealed by two different Internet companies, has demanded that the Internet companies turn over your private password to your private accounts, your email accounts, your member accounts, your Facebook page, your Twitter feed, whatever else that you might be using. They are demanding that it be turned over. Your thoughts on that? Side by side with that, there's this interesting, crazy kind of reality that I first saw reported yesterday, and that is that there's this survey that was done, and these university students, when asked if they would support fourth trimester abortions, readily signed up. And I'll let you figure out what fourth trimester abortion was intended to mean. A couple of them actually did ask, and the pollster said, meaning that the baby is come out of the woman. And these students still signed, because they're so pro-choice, they signed in support of that. I've asked if that has any significance, that university students were thinking that way. This gay Filipino man is being deported. Is not being deported. He's being spared deportation, while the same administration that is intervening simply because he said he may be harassed or denied work, not by the government, but by the culture in his home country, is also set to deport a German family that just wants to homeschool their kids. And the German government is actually the one that says they can't. So you have government oppression in Germany, families trying to flee it. They come to the U.S., trying to get asylum. A lower court said yes. The upper court said no. They're going to the Supreme Court now. But the administration is not intervening. And they could. And then finally, Franklin Graham asking some tough questions of President Obama. Why don't you care about Pastor Saeed Abedini, the jailed Iranian pastor who is an American citizen as well as an Iranian citizen, who was there building schools and homes for orphans, trying to do what he could to help children in need, not proselytizing and evangelizing the way that he's been accused and put in prison for. And then finally, there's this, and I may have touched on this week. I'm not sure if I did on this broadcast or not, but the Department of Justice, again, Mr. Holder's group, has told a school community in Arcadia, California, that they will, in fact, insist upon, the Justice Department is insisting upon, that the school will allow a girl who wants to live her life as a boy to use the boys' locker room and the boys' bathroom. And that if they have transgendered students of boys who wish to be girls, they have to allow the same thing. It's no longer just the state of California or the school district or the courts of California or even the federal courts. It is now the Department of Justice. It is the law enforcement mechanism of the federal government, of the executive branch, that is insisting to this town in California, this is what you will allow. There is no question here. These are just some of the stories I've been watching for you today, and as you can tell, it's a big news day. Let's go back to the phones. Your thoughts on any of them, 888-589-8840, 888-589-8840. And Melvin, calling from Mississippi, is up next. Melvin, welcome. You're on with Kevin McCullough on AFA Today. Hi.
Hey, thank God for AFA and telling the truth.
Thank you, sir.
I hope you're familiar with what I saw a little bit of yesterday on the computer on one of the news sites that I go to. And I'm on the road now on my cell phone, so I don't have access to it. But the title of it was putting the gay rights behind the Constitution. In other words, being able to use the Constitution to keep the homosexuals from forcing their perverted ways on everybody else, like, a florist that doesn't want to provide flowers for a homosexual wedding.
I'm familiar with such stories, yeah.
Right. And this was called some way to through the legislature to put those homosexual rights behind the freedom of speech. And it was going to have to be done, politically, like maybe an amendment to something. But the way the article read, once that was done, they would not be able to force a Christian pastor to perform a homosexual counterfeit wedding. They would not be able to force a florist to provide flowers to a homosexual wedding and so forth. Are you familiar with anything about that?
I don't think I saw that specific article, but Melvin, I will tell you, and thank you for the call. I will tell you that there is no doubt about it that the popular agenda by the sexual activists in our culture is on a collision course with religious expression, the expression of one's faith, the right to worship as you please, the guaranteed First Amendment right to religious expression. It's under attack. These two elements are on a collision course, like two head-on speed trains racing right at each other from opposite ends. Something is going to happen. One of them is going to give, and it's going to be incumbent upon we the people to decide where that goes. We're either going to protect religious expression and give preference to the individual right of everybody to believe and worship God as they find fit for themselves, or we are going to limit religious expression and say you cannot say certain things in public about certain types of behavior. And it is impossible to avoid that coming confrontation. It will not go away. There's no way to stop it. It is too pronounced, and the two equally opposing sides are too firm in their belief and will. So you're going to have people of faith being charged right into by people that want to see expression of that faith severely and strictly limited, so that they are no longer allowed to say certain things about certain types of sexual behavior as related to their faith. And I don't know how we get around that. I don't see where anybody comes out with both sides being appeased. I don't see how that's going to happen. 888-589-8840. So we'll continue to watch it. But yeah, that's where it's at. Henry in South Carolina, you're up next. Hi, Henry. Welcome to Friday on AFA Today. Kevin McCullough, glad to have you with us.
Kev, I got a question.
Okay.
Why? Okay, when you look at the government and what they're doing, what you said about emails and Google accounts, my question is, why do they want to know? Why do they want to get in people's emails? Why do they want to get in people's Facebook accounts? I think the reason they want to get in because of information, truth. You know, we never talk about what represents this spirit that's ruling this earth, which is Satan. Satan is never exposed in the conversations. He always get away. Satan takes on a form. We have to identify the root of this evil that's happening in this earth and the people actually that's in the form of that particular spirit. Now, everything is controlled by a certain group of people. Now, you got people on the radio afraid to expose the truth because it exposes a group that employs them. So you can't say nothing to expose the evil. And that's one of the biggest problems. The media, the radio stations, the Hollywood are controlled by groups that's actually at the root of a lot of this evil. And that's including y'all program. There's a lot of things y'all know about people that y'all won't say because they are your employers, and you won't say it. I mean,
no, I don't know. Hold on. Henry, hold on. I don't know what. Give me an example of what you're talking about.
Well, let me say this. Okay, the media, CBS, ABC, Fox News, all of them controlled by Jews, all of them controlled by the Zionists, all of them controlled by the different bankers, all of them controlled by the Rothschilds, all of them controlled by. But nobody
Henry,
exposes them because they are the root.
Yeah, Henry, that's not. First of all, that's not true. For instance, News Corp is a publicly traded company. It has thousands of owners, and it's not just owned by Jews. And you lumped American Family Radio into that, and I don't know if you know anything about the history of American Family Radio, but it was started as a nonprofit organization, still operates this way. Brother Don Wildman was the founder. As far as I know, he's not Jewish. And Tim Wildman is now the head of this organization. He's not Jewish. It's a listener-supported network, which means that literally hundreds of thousands of listeners twice a year come together and help provide through voluntary donation the operational expenses of this network. Some of those may be Jewish, but I'm not aware of how many versus how many aren't. So to lump AFA and American Family Radio into that pretty large assertion that I don't think you can actually prove anyway, I think that's kind of dangerous. You should probably stick to facts. And I do agree with you that the government wants control of the Facebook passwords and the Google passwords and all the rest of the passwords because they want to find information. That part you and I agree on. That the government has intent that may even be disguised as, well, we're doing this for national security reasons. But once they get in and they find out all kinds of things about people's privacy, I doubt, because I believe wholeheartedly in the depravity of man, I doubt that they're going to be super benevolent in terms of information that they find out about people. I'm pretty sure that they're going to use it in nefarious ways. So I agree with you that the government has a vested interest in invading people's privacy and in getting into these things. I am glad, at least in the report that I linked up, that the companies so far seem to be bristling a little bit at the government's demand, and it's not clear if they have complied or will comply. And I think it's great for us to put this out there and to draw awareness to it, because what you end up doing is shining a light on something that they would prefer not to be seen. That's why I'm bringing it to your attention. And you can read that article, afatoday.com. You can read the article for yourself, afatoday.com. That takes you right to the AFA Today Facebook page, afatoday.com. All right. Thank you. Let's go to, let's see, where are we going next? Let's go to Jose, who I know has been holding for longer than 11 seconds, even though that's how long it says on the screen. Jose, welcome. Thank you for your patience. You're on with Kevin McCullough. Glad you're here.
Yes, good afternoon. I'm regarding that our government asking for the passwords. My concern is, and you just touched on it, the password will give them access to our personal information, not to whatever we face on, posted on Facebook and all that, but also will give them access to our settings. And I wonder if eventually they will.
Jose, eventually they could even impersonate you and make you look like you said certain things online that you didn't say.
I am glad to say that, because that's exactly where I was coming from. I mean, they can actually say, well, I'm sorry, Jose is a national security person, and then they write something saying it was me. They bring that as a proof. I mean, and they don't even have to lie now on the court saying, hey, we were right. So they can impersonate anybody, make threats, and that be all they need to do.
Very well said, Jose, and it's another reason why it needs to be spoken out about, and we need to shine a light on it. And I've got that story linked at afatoday.com. You can go and read it for yourself, forward it to your friends, and then encourage everyone you know to contact your congressional representative and your senators and say, hey, this is uncool. The government, unless you demonstrate some sort of proof that I'm a terrorist or that there's some sort of national threat involved, in which you have to then put scrutiny under the eyes of a court and a judge to try to make a decision on whether they have the permission to go in there. You shouldn't have carte blanche access to anyone's information, Eric Holder. I know that you believe yourself to be better and superior to everyone that you ever have contact with. That's the way you present yourself regularly. I understand that. But that doesn't make it so. Just because you think you're better or more important than Jose, who's driving his truck today, or Kevin, who's wrestling with a small business, trying to help several families make it through these tough times, you're not. It doesn't make you any better just because you think that you are. And to have this kind of reach into our private passwords and email accounts and Facebook pages and everything else, I don't see benevolent desires here. I do see easy access to nefarious activities and to things that you could do that would be actually damaging in terms of impersonating or hurting the individuals whose passwords you were given access to. So enough's enough. Back off, Department of Justice. It's not your place. You don't get to go wherever you think you want to go. This is still a nation of laws. And we, the people, are the ones that hire and fire you. And so it's important for us to, first of all, be engaged so that we know. That's why we do this broadcast every day. That's why we give you resources like onenewsnow.com that reports on these things. Friends, if you're not reading onenewsnow.com, you need to put it as your homepage on your computer. You need to get up and scan those headlines and read those stories every day so that you're familiar with what's going on and why it matters. Let's see if I can take another couple of calls before we're done. Let's go to Todd in Texas because, Todd, you may be our last caller. I want to give you enough time. Hi, welcome to AFA Today with Kevin McCullough.
Hi, I appreciate your ministry and you speaking the truth, bringing out the news stories that don't get widely heard.
Thank you, Todd. The music means we're very short on time, okay. So could you condense your thought there?
Yeah, I just wanted to say real quick that Eric Holder and Barack Obama and these guys with no accountability, they, Benghazi or Fast and Furious, you've got just authority. People have been given authority that aren't responsible or under authority. It's just, I don't see the United States being able to turn this ship around anytime soon.
Todd, I so hear what you're saying, and my fear, brother, is that you may be right. I want this country to still be a great place, but we don't know what the future holds. It is going to be dependent upon every one of us getting involved, and I hope that that's what the message of today's broadcast put forward. I'm Kevin McCullough. See you tonight on the Kevin McCullough Show. I'm back here on Monday for more AFA Today. Don't forget the website, afatoday.com. Have a great weekend.